Hello everyone, back into today's third and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days and beyond for today's third and final video. So 10 days is going to take us to around the 7th of April. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles over to around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFSV2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which will take us into the second half of April, of course. So Snowwatch has been released. That's the first video released earlier on today. So there's going to be wintry showers across eastern and northern parts of the country today, tonight and tomorrow. Have a look at that, see what's going on there. And of course, we've also released weekend broadcast as always on Saturday, your weekend look at. I'll talk you through what's happening tomorrow at the end of the video. Before I do anything else, though, I did say in yesterday's video that as we're having to close down the chat at garethsworthy.com for the time being due to reduced earnings from the ads, so we're having to take away the chat for the time being at garethsworthy.com. I said that in replacement of that, partly in replacement of that anyway, we might do a couple of live streams in the afternoon, a couple of times a week. Not got any dates or times penciling yet. I just want to see what you thought about it. Seems very positive. So I had a little poll running on the Gareth Sworthy YouTube channel asking what you think about that. Maybe doing a couple of live streams a week in the afternoon. And 91% of you say you want to see that and will find it useful during this period of lockdown. Just 9% saying that they wouldn't want to see that. So the 91% clearly outweigh the 9%. I think we'll probably do a couple of live streams on a couple of afternoons through the week during this period of lockdown. Just so everybody can be able to check in on the channel and see how we're all doing. I mean, we'll still be primarily weather focused, of course, but we'll sort of have a bit of a chat through the live chat, and we'll be able to sort of just check in with one another, make sure everyone is doing okay during this period of lockdown. So yes, I'll have some more detail about that for you in the next few days. I don't know what afternoons that will be. We'll only run for around half an hour to an hour, something like that, on a couple of afternoons a week. So have more detail about times and what days that will be in a few days' time. But it seems like you definitely want to see that happening. So yes, we can definitely do that for you during this period of crisis, of course. So moving on to temperature, Miss Sabah CT is currently looking provisional from Hadley up to yesterday, the 27th of March. We're standing at 6.9, which is an anomaly of 1.3 degrees above average. So hasn't felt that mild, has it? But it's still a little bit above average, still around a degree or just over a degree above average. Much less of an anomaly as we had in January and February, though. Those 2 months had anomalies of over 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees above average. It's probably going to tick down over the next day or two as well. So I think in the end, with downwards corrections as well, we're probably going to finish up somewhere around 6.5, maybe 6.6, something like that. So in the end, we're probably not going to finish too far away from where we was in January and February overall. Still a little bit above average, but much less of an anomaly compared to the past 2 months. These chilly conditions are going to last into the early part of April as well. That's all covered by weekend forecast, of course. However, as we move on towards the second week of April, we are seeing signs now that weather could become quite a lot milder. So these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere. High pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. These are taking us to around day 10, which is going to be moving towards the second week of April. And we have above average heights then setting up to our south and southwest, with below average heights to our north and northwest. And so this is bringing in a southwesterly wind, and it's bringing in mild air from off the Atlantic. So that's proper spring-like conditions, really, as we move to the end of the first week and into the second week of April. Temperatures will be lifting up. Could be a bit unsettled, particularly for the north and west, with some spells of rain. Obviously, if this trough of low pressure was to start really barreling in, and it could turn very unsettled. But as it is, the south and southeast should get a reasonable amount of dry weather there. North and west most unsettled. The main thing is probably the push up in the temperature. The GFS is also seeing this as well, with above average heights. So let's change the colour. Above average heights sitting to our south. And then below average heights are out to both the west and also to the northeast, and that leaves us doing something like that with the flow, or with the jet stream winds are coming in from the west. Again, it's milder. That could be a bit unsettled for northwestern parts of the country. Driest conditions will be in the south and southeast. The main thing is that temperatures are lifting up to reach spring-like values as we get into the second week of April, after a pretty wintry opening start to April, certainly wintry feeling temperatures. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. Let's go look at Manchester today. The red line is of no, not look at Mansfield, I should say. The red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Mansfield, and we're starting off rather below average at the moment, and the temperature going to get even colder over the next few hours, reaching around -10 at 850 HPA tonight into tomorrow. I mean, a very slow lift up in the temperature through the course of next week, although staying below average really until we get to around the 7th of April, around there, and then we do see the temperature, upper air temperature, starting to lift up. So quite cold really through the first week of April, certainly the first 5 days of April, possibly the first week of April, and then the second week of April, as we just saw on the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts, becoming milder. There are a few colder outlier members down here, but I think the broad theme of the ensemble, the broad trend of the ensemble, is definitely to turn things milder into the second week of April. Precipitation wise, and lots of dry weather coming up over the next week or so, first 5 days or so of April, on the closing days of March. Into the second week of April, more unsettled. So as the temperature lifts up, as the upper air temperatures become milder, so we do have an increase in precipitation as well. So turning more unsettled through the second week of April, but turning milder also. That's all extended range stuff, though, of course. There is uncertainty and unreliability about that. Temperature anomalies from the 28th of March to 5th of April are colder than average, not just for the UK, but through the vast majority of Europe as well. Precipitation anomalies from the 28th of March to the 5th of April are drier than average, especially so across western parts of Europe. But many parts of Europe actually having a drier than average week. That's how the GFS is looking for Tuesday, and this will cover by weekend forecast, of course. High pressure out to our west, and we're starting to turn things a little bit less cold as well by Tuesday. Into the second half of next week, we have a really good go at pulling down a northerly. So this high pressure is ridging out into the Atlantic. It's trying to get itself up towards Greenland. We've also got this deep trough of low pressure plunging into Scandinavia. So only a very minor adjustment would leave us pulling in a really cold northerly wind there, really cold for early April. Doesn't quite come off, and the cold air is generally kept at bay across Scotland. So Scotland does get into the cold air by next weekend. But for the rest of us, we're close to this ridge of high pressure, but just doesn't quite get to Greenland properly. And so that leaves us on the milder side of the ridge. Except for Scotland, where we do pull down that genuinely Arctic air. Now, moving up towards day 10, then we start to pull up milder air from the southwest. So as we get to day 10, which is Tuesday the 7th of April, all change again. Much milder air now wafting up from west or southwest. That's proper taste of spring. Low pressure is out to our west and northwest. So some rain in the northwest, but many areas dry and probably quite mild there with spring-type temperatures. Into more extended range, it starts to turn more unsettled again as low pressure comes in off the Atlantic. So temperature probably drop back close to average, and we bring showers or longer spells of rain in from the Atlantic. That's as far as we can get to with the GFS today, which gets us to Monday the 13th of April, which is actually Easter Monday. And it looks unsettled, I'm afraid. Low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, bringing showers, if not longer spells of rain. The GEM looks like that, so high pressure just out to our west on Tuesday. We're beginning to turn a little bit less cold on Tuesday. And a little dry weather through the middle part of next week. Second half of next week, again, there's a high trying to ridge itself up to Greenland. Trough of low pressure plunging into the northeast of the country. It's having a very good go at putting down a proper Arctic northerly. Again, doesn't get the cold air much further than northern Scotland. So Northern Scotland does get into those cold Arctic conditions, but the rest of us, those cold northerlies, are just about kept at bay. And moving up towards day 10, again, similar to what the GFS was showing, high pressure then sets up sort of to our east, low pressure out to west, and we start to put up a milder south-southeasterly wind, and that would see temperatures lifting back up to at least seasonal averages, if not above average, by day 10, 7th of April. And the ECMWF is looking like this. So again, the high pressure's out to our west on Tuesday. Looks a little bit on the cool side, but less cold than it will be over weekend and early next week. Second half of next week, again, the high pressure is trying to ridge up to Greenland, but trough of low pressure trying to plunge in from the north. Actually, a little bit more of a northerly with the ECM for the end of next week. This will probably get quite cold down even into more southern parts of the country on Friday next week. But again, really, the main sort of Arctic conditions are kept to the far north of the country, somewhere around here, with those northerly winds, just not quite managing to push their way in as we go into next weekend. And then moving up towards day 10, the wind swinging to the south, it turns much milder. Also starts to get a bit more unsettled, especially to the northwest with some rain up there. But overall, much, much milder by the time we get through to day 10, 7th of April. Proper spring weather developing there. That's how the ECMWF precipitation type forecast is looking from Meteo.com. So we'll go through this quite quick. There's going to be lots of dry weather around in the next few days. A few showers in eastern areas tomorrow. Some of them could be wintry. That's covered in Snowwatch, of course. Maybe more widespread sort of light rain or drizzle across the country on Monday. That'll sort of phase away as high pressure takes over through into the middle of next week. And then there's a stretch of those cold northern winds just to the north of Scotland, bringing some snow showers in there, but most of those cold northerlies are kept at bay, really, just to the north of the country. And then moving into more extended range, and it starts to turn more unsettled. It turns milder, yes, but it also starts to turn more unsettled with rain coming in from off the Atlantic as we move up towards day 10. That is day 10, 7th of April. Quite wet out in the western part of the country, in the northwest, but obviously quite a lot milder as well. These are options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10, which gets us to the 7th of April from the Icelandic Met Office. We have 19 members of the ECM ensembles that have us in a rather unsettled and relatively mild westerly flow. We have 19 members of the ECM ensembles, another 19 with low pressure out to west and the northwest, and high pressure is to our south and southeast. And with this one, we're dragging up milder winds from the southwest. Not quite as unsettled, but it is milder. And then we have 13 with high pressure to the east, and low pressure is to the west. And these are bringing up quite a mild southerly to southwesterly flow, but could be rather unsettled, particularly in western parts of the country. At day 10, a lot of those options are looking quite unsettled, but generally looking milder as well. And then in 2 weeks' time, these options that we've got for the 12th of April have 16 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure out to our west and northwest, so they're looking unsettled. 16 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to the northwest, high pressure to our south and southeast. Winds coming up from a southwesterly direction with those. That's relatively dry, mild, and probably very spring-like conditions. 11 with high pressure to our south, low pressure to the north. That will be quite pleasant too. And then we have 8 just here that have a Scandinavian high. So these are going to be mainly dry, but could be colder, bringing the wind in from the east with those. That's a minority option, but by sort of 12th of April, there is a minority option within the ECM ensembles to start building up the Scandinavian high once again. Finally, the CFSV2, so these are 500 millibar heights broken down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 28th of March to the 3rd of April. The coming week has above average heights out to our west and northwest. We're bringing the wind from a north or even a northeasterly direction. A lot of dry weather, but certainly on the cold side. Week 2 looks like that. It's the 4th to the 10th of April, then beginning to revert back to westerlies. Low pressure to the north, high pressure to the southwest. Winds are coming in from a westerly direction. So temperatures would become milder, but it would be turning a bit more unsettled there, obviously, especially for the north and west. Week 3 is the 11th to the 17th of April. It's covering Easter, of course. Low pressure to our south, high pressure, should say, to our south-southwest. Low pressure to our north. Winds are in from a west to southwesterly direction. So potentially a lot milder there with that one. And for the south, also a little bit dry. That could be a nice Easter. Then we go through to week 4, which is the 18th to the 24th of April. Again, low pressure is away to the northwest, high pressure down towards Spain. Winds are coming in from off the Atlantic. So it all looks rather Atlantic driven. Shouldn't be much problem with temperature. The only issue is that it might be a little bit on the unsettled side. Maybe even with some April showers. Who knows? So, it definitely looks like they're having a cold start to April. We can say that quite definitively. Or a chilly start to April anyway. There is still a chance that we might pull down a proper Arctic northerly blast in around a week's time. That chance has diminished with recent model runs. Models have backed away from that. But it is a close run thing. It'll only take very slight adjustments to put it off. And I suspect if we went through the ECM and the GFS ensembles, we'd probably find that quite a few of them would still be pulling in those cold northerly winds in around a week's time. So we do have to watch out for that. But as we get towards day 10 and then on into the second week of April, all the evidence is that temperatures should start to recover. We should be able to probably start cracking on with spring. Temperatures lifting up. May turn a little bit more unsettled though, particularly to the north and to the northwest. Right, that's it for your videos for today. Now, tomorrow we would normally have a summer analogues update, but I've got a bit behind this week and haven't had the time to get those summer analogues together. So for this week, we're going to rest the summer analogues, and instead we will still do a summer update. We're going to do the first seasonal model roundup for the summer of 2020. So we're going to see what all the long-range models are showing for this summer. We're going to get something like 11 or 12 of them all together and see what they're all showing for the first time, actually, this season. So yes, a summer update tomorrow, but not analogues, long-range models. We will also have Gals Rugby Study Roundup, and we're going to begin the countdown to Easter as well tomorrow. So yes, we will have the first Easter 2020 update for you tomorrow. There are not going to be many events forecast, I'm afraid, this summer due to everything being cancelled because of COVID-19. But we will still do the updates for the bank holiday weekend. So the first one of those, of course, is Easter. So that's all to come tomorrow. And then, as I say, in a day or two's time, a couple of days' time, I'll have a little bit more detail about what we're going to do with these live streams. A couple of afternoons a week. We'll check in on the Gals Service YouTube channel and just make sure everyone is okay during this coronavirus crisis. Right, that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll see you tomorrow. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.